my travels, I have had the opportunity to meet a number of interesting folks. Today's story time comes from one such meeting. I spend a lot of time in national forests and parks. I've met quite a few park rangers. One of those rangers was a lady named Stormy. Stormy had been a ranger for several years. We got around to talking about things we had both seen and heard in the deep dark woods over the years when she told me quite a story. Today, I'll share that story with you. So, I opened the door to this tale by asking Stormy about the most profound incidents she had encountered. She told me that one that really stands out occurred while she was working near the Appalachian Trail. She was out making her rounds when she spotted something on a tree by the trail. Upon closer inspection, she found it to be a human hand on the tree with a knife through the center and each fingertip nailed into the tree, as if the knife wasn't enough to hold it there. She immediately ran to her truck and called for the local police to come out. No other evidence was found in a search of the nearby forest. No blood, no tracks, nothing. It was estimated that the hand had been severed from its body less than 24 hours prior to being found. As extraordinary as this was, nothing else was found, leaving park authorities and the police baffled. Skip ahead a couple of months. Stormy was back out in the same general area patrolling. As you could imagine, she was still a little creeped out by the memory of the hand she had found not long before. Well, this day she was walking along a side trail that isn't as heavily traveled, doing her usual thing, looking for trash, trail damage, danger points and such. She came upon a clearing, and to her amazement, she saw deer heads. Not one, not two, but 7, all lined up neatly in a row, all facing east, each one about a foot apart. No scattered blood to be seen, no accompanying body parts, just the 7 heads. Seemingly fresh, not old skulls. All does. Oh, did I mention all the eyes had been removed? Oh, and the tongues had been removed as well. In spite of the previous finding of the hand, Stormy chalked this one up to some local hunter or hunters who dreamed up the idea of staging said deer to freak somebody out. She decided against calling the event in and just kinda kicked the deer heads off into the brush and went about her business. Stormy is pretty tough, huh? A few weeks later, there was a pretty harsh storm in the area, and she was once again sent back to this same trail section to look for downed trees and branches blocking the way. When she reached the clearing where she had found the deer heads, she looked along the forest line for the heads and saw they were all gone. Okay, probably other animals came along and dragged them away or something. It was about then Stormy got this funny feeling in her gut. Not so much as feeling like she was being watched, but that something was terribly wrong. Her gut was telling her she really needed to leave the area right away, but she felt she had to finish her work. She set about clearing some brush off the trail and then hastily made her way out of the woods. As soon as she emerged from the forest, the feeling of unease subsided. Moving ahead a few months, Stormy received a call that a solo hiker had gone missing. Yes, back in that same section of the forest. Since this area was more or less assigned to Stormy, she was the first one dispatched out to begin the search. This time, however, she was joined by a fellow ranger and they decided to stick together, both of them being familiar with the strange happenings in the area. Remember how she had felt the presence of something wrong before? Well, as soon as they entered the woods, they both felt it. This time it just felt like they were not alone. Almost as if they were being stalked by a silent predator. The deeper they got into the woods, the more clear it became that something or someone was definitely following them. Being seasoned park rangers, they were pretty sure that this was something on 2 legs from the occasional walking sounds they heard. After calling out several times to no avail, Stormy's fellow ranger decided to fire a warning shot into the air. The line of thinking here was the sound from the gun would be enough to frighten away the unwanted guest. To their horror, it had quite the opposite effect as it came barreling out of the woods straight at them. When it emerged, what they saw was best described as a timber wolf running on its hind legs. A bipedal wolf? No way. Stormy said in trying to process this, her brain told her maybe it was a man wearing a wolf costume. The creature stopped, and they locked eyes. She said there was an intelligence there far beyond any animal she'd ever seen. There was absolutely no doubt that this creature's only intent was to harm them. The 2 rangers began to run away when the wolf-like thing dodge-stepped and flanked them. As it was reaching for her friend, Stormy drew her pistol and shot at it. It screamed out in pain as she'd evidently hit her mark. The creature staggered backwards and the rangers bolted and ran flat out till they escaped the deep dark wood. As they made it back to their vehicle, they jumped in and took off. As soon as they got off the Forest Service road, they sought out an open store and grabbed a couple of coffees to calm their nerves. They sat for quite a while discussing the events of the night. They both decided it was in their best interest not to tell anyone. A few weeks after this event, Stormy gave her 2 weeks' notice and left the park rangers. She did find a position inside a park away from the Appalachians, no trail duties, just a simple 9 to 5 inside the safety of the park gift shop. Her love for nature wouldn't let her completely leave it,